FixerBot says. Welcome. Stream starts in 5 minutes. T-minus 4 minutes.
Welcome to my stream, where knowledge reigns supreme. Calm and collected, I'm about to go live, you know what I mean. Got high expectations, gonna teach you something new. Learning, hacking, exploring, there's so much we can do. Feel the excitement as we dive into uncharted lands. New discoveries await in this digital wonderland. Together we'll unravel the secrets, unlock the code. No limits, no boundaries, no knowledge will explode. Welcome to my stream, where the fire of knowledge burns bright. Chat with me, let's embark on this journey of delight. From the basics to superpowers, we'll learn and grow in this stream of knowledge. Together we'll grow. Welcome to my stream, where knowledge reigns supreme. Calm and collected, I'm about to go live.
Stream about to start. 1 minute left.
Expectations, gonna teach you something new. Learning, hacking, exploring, there's so much we can do. Feel the excitement as we dive into uncharted lands. New discoveries await in this digital wonderland. Together we'll unravel the secrets, unlock the code. No limits, no boundaries, no
welcome back. Yeah, so today will be a bit of a mess because both of my kids have meetings. One is 14 and one is 15, so we'll see how much they can do themselves and how much I'll be involved. The 15 meeting will be like 15 minutes, I think, but that will be, it's one of those school quarter meetings. So my kid will be, and also us. How much are we going to say to his teacher? He just told me he wanted on the phone. He doesn't want to be an image. So I'll just have to thank her because she just sent it. She'll send an invite. So 2 seconds. Oh, thanks. He said he wants to have it without an image. So where to start? He just called me like when it was 1 minute left of the stream countdown. So that's why. But we sent it once, so the school knows. It's just like 2.5 hours. Yeah. Actually, what did I do the other day? I went to Monday. I went to my first ever indoors climb, and Tuesday I picked up very cheap used climbing shoes. And the reason I thought about it now because it smells a bit, so I want to wash them. But I have 2 of them are here, just here. Let's see if I can they're like this. Oh, I got the carton too. So we have used used climbing shoes, but there's kids that have used them, so hopefully they're not as smelly as adult feet. Nah, I'll just wash them. But I did sense it, now. So. Maybe it's just because I tested them. Anyway, let's get started with the buffer overflow stuff. I don't know how long I will be going for today. So I'll be leaving for training at 17. I'm hopefully expecting oh, I got a message. Oh, right. So that's from a person I just connected to. So. I can reply later. Yeah. So let's just put that back there. Yeah. So I saw her talk on YouTube. It was very nice about cards and stuff. Very nice. It's fun with a physical bit of getting past card readers and things, right? So let's see. So how far did I read on this? I think we actually got to the practical bit. Yeah, right, I remember. So this pattern function of the ERC that we were using inside of the, where is it? X64. Was it just DBG? Because that's such a simple name. Yeah, and we were using X32 DBG here. Yeah. So I looked at this, I tested it, and we had this format. And I don't want to mess with changing the format just to use a tool on the machine. It's very easy to copy a string from our VM. So using the pattern create from MSF is much much simpler because you just get it as one string. And so if you were to insert this in code, this could be like useful, but it's not as quick if you just want it in a file. Like we want it in a WAV file now. So we'd have to mess about with it. Not really useful, right? Yeah, so that's as far as this that we got with us. And we did connect to this to be able to test it as we just go through it, read the text. So we are not actually at the end of it, we're just reading through it at the very kind of start here. And it's repetition since we've already done this before, and then on the Linux of this site. And but I like the HackTheBox buffer overflow explanations. It's not perfect, but it's better than Track Me for sure, because they didn't actually explain much. They were like, yeah, it was more, so we do this, and then suddenly a question on something that we didn't learn about. So I had to learn on other places too, and I did, but you know, the more sources you get it in a more, well, better notes, let's call it that. Better fact collection now, how it works, testing it in different places in different ways. This will end up being a YouTube video for sure. I wouldn't say research, but I guess why not? Anyway, just the basics of buffer overflows, right? And on different machines, as we're now on Windows and we used to do Linux. So I added here for UI programs that it's not, of course, command line arguments the same way it's fields. And we got too many crashes last time. That was the problem. We didn't get it not to crash. We got it to crash from just trying to open a file. And not the right crashes, right? So at first I was like, oh yay, we're on a Windows 10 machine. This is great. And then it kind of kept crashing. We'll see. I think it worked when you don't attach the debugger. So it's the debugger that makes it crash. So maybe it's a bit like not, I guess that the VM won't have the last version of it, so if we install something ourselves, I'll just connect to the VPN. 2 seconds. There. Right. Let's hop you over to the screen. And we're going to connect with X3 here. RDP. And we want, hopefully we have an IP now. So here, let's see, so we can test stuff. Let's update the IP. This happened once before. We have the same IP. Very nice. We don't have to even change the IP. So there. Let's start this. Let's actually make a taskbar pin for this. Let's move the taskbar to the top. We have to unlock it, because it will conflict with Callis. And yesterday I also hide it because we don't have that much space, and I want to have a high resolution for the stream. So let's hide it. When the full VM crashed, it actually reset this yesterday. That's interesting too. So let's maximize this. Let's run the program. And we tried injecting stuff into those fields too. And by the way, before we attach to it, there's something I want to test. So it crashed last time, and I was like, so this is it. This is a crash. But I was attached, I think. And since this was here, when I
New
typed
follower Sama 6FT3 and
10,000
190
here and
LBS
clicked this
outgoing.
button, it crashed
Less than
when
3.
attached. Hi. Welcome in. So in. I'm too tired for reading the whole name.
Sama
Hi,
6FT3
welcome
and
in.
190 LBS
Welcome
outgoing
in.
says.
Hi, smiley face. Ignore my name, lol.
You're now Sam. Welcome in, Sam. Or just tell me what to say. So with 10,000 A's here and clicking this, it crashed. But it didn't crash with other fields, and we were attached to them. So now I'm curious. I have to test this. So let's just get a new tab, and I think we have Pythons for getting that very easily. Just a few up arrows.
What you working on?
So we're testing buffer overflow, and now we're on Windows. So this is a HackTheBox room. So we just connected here, and this one is a GUI Windows program instead of we've previously done Linux, and it's much simpler. Of course, you don't have that many ways to, you know, a million fields in a GUI program is more complex to try and get a buffer overflow. So I don't know if you know buffer overflow. I have my notes here that kind of explains it in a kind of good way, I think. So buffer overflow is when vulnerable code allows us to write over a bigger section of memory than it should. And some C functions here that's vulnerable. So if we'll happen to input too much and it'll crash, we'll see. So I think I copied it, but let's do it again. And I'm going to input this in this field for the path. So we have 10,000 A's here now. I click this, and it worked. So I was kind of assuming that this would be the case, since it was probably the attaching of the debugger that actually crashed it. Because I got the same problem when I just clicked on these and clicked here, and it crashed from this too. It just froze before. And it's not supposed to, and it didn't do it when I wasn't attached. So let's attach by Alt-A. And this is a more modern tool for, there's also a 64-bit version. And we're on a virtual machine on HackTheBox here that has actually Windows 10. So it's not like an old Windows XP or something. So I really like that we're on a modern. Alt-A to connect. We can select the app, and we're now connected. Now we will see if we can manage to get the correct error. Because it's not really useful to update this, even if we can. Because we'll have...
I know a hello world that should tell you that. Lol.
Yeah. Hello world is always good. There's a lot of hello worlds too. So, yeah, so you know a bit of programming, but not a lot, maybe? So I'm happy to explain it. If there's something I say that you don't understand, just tell me. And if you know more than me,
What,
just
so those are memory
teach me.
locations?
Yeah, let's look at it. I'll just go to the right place. Or rather, we can start with this. So here we have the processor's registers. We have EAX, BX. These are kind of the normal number there. Then we have the EIP, which says the next instruction that the processor will run. in the goal of this is to actually overwrite this, and we can't write to EIP because it is read only. But what we can do is to change the when a program goes into a function, the return address after the function is run that it's supposed to jump back to, it is saved on the stack, a certain type of memory, and when it's later jumping back, if this memory was overwritten, then we have managed to change this EIB, and we will get the result that this is overwritten with a lot of A's, since we put a lot of A's in our thing. And this program that we have, let's see, where is it? So then we got so many start. I have to click it first. So come on now, start line. So this program, if you encode and do a wave file, open a wave file here, that's a lot of A's, then it will crash. Let's just do it, right? So we will want a PowerShell, so we can just enter text easily. And I'm thinking, right, so we actually had a command in here, and I was like, so why are they doing this? But it was actually useful. So let's copy it. So this is a normal one, just to use Python to print 10,000 A's. We don't want to type 10,000 A's, right? Manually. But this one actually opens a file too, and puts all the A's in the file.
Yeah, lol.
Yeah. So I was like, why are they not just redirecting the output of this Python file into a file? Because it's very easy to just do a tiny little arrow and redirect it. Yeah, and the camera is switched, so I should do this. Right? Now I must... I don't know if I'm mirrored or not. Anyway, so this... What happens if we redirect it is it goes 2 bytes for every A, and we don't want that. So that's why this is useful. Actually use file open and use Python to output it to a file. So we're going to copy this and we're going to run it on PowerShell here. This is useful, and I should probably just Control V. Yeah. So I'm shift Control V because that's the usual way in Kali. Come on, from. So now it will get a fuzz wave saved in this directory, and we can open this. So wrong program. I think I can tab. Yeah. So if we click now, was it the desktop? No, it was this directory. So here's our fuzz. So this is just a file with 10,000 A's in it. And when we open this, we will see if this program can handle this big file, right? And if it crashes, which it did, we can see it here. If I try to click this now, I can't click anything, it is crashed. And here we can read first chance exception on 41, 41, 41, 41, and 41 is an A. So this is the hex code for one for an A. So we have filled all of this up with A's. You can see all here, this is a stack memory. So it's all A's. It's all A's all over the place. And also the return address where to return the EIP here is overridden with A's too. Meaning that we succeeded in doing this, and we got this, this is a Stack Overflow error. That's what it is. It's a bit... We get an access violation. I guess that it's because of this memory, we can't read this or run instructions on that memory. It might not exist. We might not be able to run instructions there. So, I don't know. Anyway, so we now know that one of those 10,000 made it crash. We don't know what A. So the next step here, let's just do it all, is to go to our Kali again. Come on, I want to not selected anymore. And let's just go up to see what I did yesterday again. Yeah, so here we have MSF Venom. No, that's the wrong one. Am I going too far up now?
Wait, so can you show me the code
Here,
again?
pattern.
Was the code U and the PS to overwrite the fuzz file?
The fuzz file we created. I can show you this again. So this is a command you can run this at in Linux or in Windows if you have Python installed. And to run a command, and then you put Python code within quotes. And this one uses the print command with an output. So it prints to a file that is, well, actually open. And we get just to a file name on the current path. And the W just means it's for writing. We're opening the file for writing, not for reading or anything else. And we're setting the name. So this will create the file since it doesn't exist already. So we don't overwrite it. The file is just a name of it. And this is probably not necessary. We could probably just, I'm sure we can just skip this. I don't know why they have it there. There are a lot of question marks in this. Anyway, it will write the 1000 A's to this file. And it will also add a new line because of the print.
Oh, you created the file, okay.
Yeah, so we created this file. So let's see. So we were in the next one now because let's make sure that I have this saved because it's kind of nice way to create a test file, right? I'm just Control-Cing. No, this is the wrong line. I think I already had this selected too, right? So let's make sure we have this in the notes. Because this is something that's new to have to create a file for testing the buffer overflow. I think actually it should be with the other things. That's kind of at the start. No? Here. So, yeah, so here are some examples. Example input test, not example. Test input file creation. Right? So let's also make this a, I think we're on 5 levels header here. Yeah. So I just did a shift control paste there. It's Obsidian. This is a note taking tool that I use for this. Create a file with 10,000 A's, right? And I make my notes so that they're supposed to be understood by everybody. I have them publicly available. Then we're going to do create a non-random file for well, I could be explicit for finding the position to override I'm thinking of adding EIP to the text. Well, so this will be 2 commands. Actually, we can do it as one command. We can do it as one command. Let's do it. Make it a one-liner. So we will want this, right? But instead of putting the A's in here, Here,
And when
we're
buffer
going to
overflows,
replace
can you
this.
corrupt other files on your computer, or adjacent memory locations would only be that fuzz file?
So the stack is a part of memory, set memory addresses. You could of course write outside even of the stack with this, depending on how big the stack is and how much data you put there. So twice actually. I think this should be impossible, but my OBS and my stream crashed when I did overflows on my virtual machine locally, not when I do them
Sorry
on,
if that
on
didn't make
this
sense. I
kind of
don't think I
machine.
know enough to ask what I don't know about.
Yeah, so we couldn't write. Well, I guess that files on the hard drive, have addresses too, but that's not close to the stack, those addresses. So we couldn't use it like that, at least. And I don't know enough to answer either. So we're learning together here. That's the point of the stream. Anyway, this command, the pattern offset, is to find a specific. Oh, I'm on the wrong. I don't have my cursor on this. So here's the pattern create. And this is what we will use.
Basically, what I'm worried about is if I did this and say I said 1,000,000 A's, is there a chance I could corrupt other files on my computer?
No. You couldn't do that. So just this Python is not a buffer overflow. That's just to get a string to test for buffer overflows in different programs. So we'll have to send it at input to another program for it to actually be even testing for buffer overflow. Oh, what happened now? Did I paste instead of... Oh. So that's annoying. So let's just ignore that and copy this bit that I wanted.
Okay.
So I think I will not make it more complicated than it needs to be. So let's trying to remember my shortcut. So let's do 10,000 here. So we want 10,000. The pattern create program, it creates a non-random string, meaning it will not do 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 or a, but it will create a pattern that when we later send this to the script that you saw right now, when it said pattern locate instead, it will tell you what position these letters were found at. So then we know how far into memory we were when we overwrote this, where EIP is saved back from memory into the register EIP from. And tell me if I'm confusing. So anyway, so here, instead of 10,000 A's, we're going to put the random string here. I hope that's like good enough. So to test here, we can first try just with A's, but then we can try this way. So I guess I will have to delete this. I by mistake pasted here. So let's do 10,000, and that's what I did last. This is part of a Metasploit framework, so we say thank you for the nice tool, and we get 10,000 not just A's, but actually a non-repeating pattern here of characters, and it can do kind of lots of them before it gets problems. So I'm going to copy all of this, and we're going to paste it into the next command.
Wait, could you pause for a second? Actually, never mind.
What? I'm like, what? Yeah. So we want to create the file on this virtual machine connected to by FreeRDP here instead of doing it on our computer, right? So we'll go to this start menu here and go to this PowerShell, and I'm going to, it's a bit laggy, so let's call this fuss2 just to type as little as possible, and we're going to replace A with our string. I'm going to paste it here now, so I can't read. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Fixerbot says,
subscribing.
thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for the sub Sama 6FT3 and 190 LBS
Yeah,
outgoing.
thank you.
Less than 3.
So we're going to paste these 10,000 non-random, and
Sama
We can find
6FT3
the
and 190
position
LBS outgoing says,
I was going to say pause because for the ads, but I just went ahead and subbed so I could avoid them.
oh, thank you. Yeah, but I think there's a message saying you can tell me to pause too. So, but thank you very much for the sub. And I forgot to. You can see how it's logical in structure, right? It's figuring out the smart button, capital A, lowercase a, 0, and it goes on this way. So we can see how the pattern works right away. So the good part of this is that oh my, it's long. It's not that long. So after this here, let's click and create the file.
Wait and lost, where did that string come from?
So this string came from Kali. So I have to go down here and click because tab is left there. So we run a command here to create this with a script that's pre-installed on Kali. It's from the Metasploit framework and it's called pattern_create.rb. So we just tell it we want 10,000 characters long string. Thank you. And it does give us this long string to use. And why am I in there? Yeah, so let's hop back here and let's tab to this again. So now we have actually created the file fuss2 with this. As you can see, this is crashed, so we click stop and then we go, let's see, come on, start menu. This is now stopped. There's no blue line, so we start it again. When we click stop after having attached, it will close the program. Very nice. We don't have to go to task manager or anything. So again, we just do go and code, but we also need to attach again. So we do Alt A to attach. We double click the thing that we want to attach to. Now we can crash it and get information about what happened. Right, so let's open fuss2 here with open, and this is no longer responsive. We have a new error here, and this time it doesn't say AAA or 41 41 41 41, right? Instead, if I click here, we can see we have 31 68 46 30. So this is interesting. This we will need to get to our Kali, and since this is just a maximized window here, we can, let's see if I can manage to make this a bit tinier. So we can just type this in. Oh, that's annoying. It's it's underneath. So let's see if we can copy this in some nice way. So if I click this here, I can't select stuff here. The EIP value, I'm sure we can copy EIP, copy value there. So we can just, we don't want to do that. We want to go here. That's a problem with levels of virtual machines here, and connected with X3RDP and tabbing. What program is it to tab to? So now let's just paste the string here to make sure we have it. This is what we want. We want to find the position, and if we let's actually go up and go back a bit, and here in the same path we have the locate one. So if I do L and do, let's see, no tab, offset, it's called offset. I thought it was locate, it's offset. So this is the last one I used, and Q stands for query, and here we just paste our new characters we got, and then we find that the offset, the position in the string of 10,000 characters that this was at, is 4112. So now we know where in this that we got the buffer overflow. So we could then change the data of that, right? But there's something else we need to do too that I had problems with because it keeps crashing in the wrong way. So I'm thinking we'll try it with this. It's easier to create these strings with PowerShell because it's on the same machine, right? We don't have Metasploit on this machine. So I can easily create a string that is so let's call this one 5,000, and let's do 5,000 characters. So now we're creating a 5,000, I think 5,002 character long file. We could also ls or dir here to find the files and see the file sizes. So it adds the new line here in the Windows 2 character way. So we could make more files. We could do 4,000. And this is what they suggested and we did yesterday. Only we didn't get the problem. We didn't get what they said that we would get. Let's say it like that. So it kept crashing already at 3,000 or 2,000. It's supposed to not crash until 5,000, and at 5,000 we still didn't get the correct crash where we have the 41, 41, 41, you know. We got another crash. So there's something else that bugs out, and I'm thinking it's connected to that we are attached to the program with the debugger.
5,000?
Probably because if you do 4,000 characters, it can handle the output. It just reads this as a WAV file. Let's do it. So I just have to keep track of time. I have to go check with my kid for my kid has a meeting in 1 hour, and I don't think he's up. So I'm just going to go wake him up again.
All good, haha.
So my kid has some sleeping problem. I think he might have fallen asleep very late. So we might have to reschedule that meeting. We'll see. So I turned on a few lights. I'll probably get a lot of opinions on that later. We'll see. I asked him if it was okay. So let's see here. Right. So we're currently attached to the program. I'm just clicking something here to make sure that we're here. The program.
What time is it where you're at?
So you can probably see that it's 12:59. So
NVM, I see it.
Yeah. Right, paused. So what if we run it again? There. Yeah, so it pauses. The problem I have with that is that it might not always crash when I think it crashes, right? It's pausing, but all the breakpoints are disabled. So it's not supposed to pause, is it? Anyway, what file did we do now? I'm going to just stop this and let's start the program. Let's just attach to it. This is kind of quick, right? It's running. And we go to the encode. Let's open the 4000 one. And this is not supposed to crash. And it does say divide by 0 here, right? And that's not supposed to be, right? Divide by 0. And if we run this outside of the debugger, maybe it handles this error and just runs anyway. So I think it continues. Yeah, so it's continued, even though it was a divide by 0 error. It just doesn't care. So this, it's not like it's the program is running. We can stop this. So now it worked, and I will have to just play. And then if we do the 5000 character one and open this, we get this time we get actually the 41. And we can see here that this string is a here. And we have 41s all over the stack.
I would have imagined that a /0 function would make the application hang.
Yeah, but it's probably like has security for that, but it's just a bug still. It's still very odd. So how come I can't find that address again with the A's? Oh, here they are. Here we have all the A's. So what we're going to do now to test this, not with 10,000 but with 5,000, we'll just do the same thing but with 5,000. And I'm going to, well, we know the number here, right? So it's kind of stupid to do this. I don't know why they did it, but as they did it, I want to try it. So let's get a shorter one, and let's make up this a file too. So here we copy this, and we go to FreeRDB, and meaning the remote machine. And this one is crashed now, so let's just stop it. Let's go to PowerShell, and let's go, well, we can do any one of these and just remove this. So I'm going to use this to not have to type all of that again. There, pasting it. 5,000 this time. I overwrote 4,000. That was not smart. Yeah, so it didn't do it. Okay, sure. That's nice, but also odd. Okay, so my window is too big. It doesn't fit. That's why. Let's make it a bit tinier. So let's actually do this. There.
Study for Security Plus says.
Oh.
Tomb Raid.
Fixerbot says.
Welcome in,
Raiders.
everybody.
B7H30 brought 20
raid.
friends to the party. Go drop him a follow.
Hi,
002
Theo.
says.
Future man.
Theo says.
Riffraff inbound. Replacer B7H30 pizza shake B7H30 rev shell roll B7H30 tall.
Study
Someone
for
fucking
Security
music.
Plus says.
Weblink.
Madam Fabulous says.
GMGM.
Good
El Raguinho says.
morning.
Hello.
Dragonov 308 says.
B7H30 raid Twitch raid.
Welcome in, everybody, and thank you, Theo, so much for the raid.
Sama
I hope you're
6FT3
having
and
a great
190
morning.
outgoing says.
Fix it 42 wave.
So we're playing with Buffer Overflow on
Gumbathy Supreme
Windows.
Overlord says.
Lulpog Champ B7H30 Rev Shell Roll Fixit 42 Wave.
Yay! So we were just about to think up a name for 5,000 non-random strings. So 5,000 again, very, very unique file name, right? So we did the 10,000 one, and just because we want to test it this way too. So we currently don't run this program. We're testing this program and trying to do it, make it buffer overflow by opening 2 big files for it. And this is kind of fun. But we will need to let's attach. So we do Alt A, and this is a program that's open source and kind of modern and Windows, and it's called x64DBG or x32 in this case. And this is a Windows 10 machine on HackTheBox, so I'm kind of like happy that we don't have to use something very old, Immunity Debugger. And we can really see stuff. Oh, right. Let's move me. I'm in the way of the registers. So we can see the registers here.
Kitty says.
So,
Raid from some person who loves to use NeoVim Noiki one raid.
yeah, exactly. NeoVim, Theo. I know it's just a fun thing. So I don't use Vim. I use Nano or Mousepad or anything. As long as I don't have to keep remembering a lot of key combinations.
Study for Security Plus says.
I renew.
Translated from Croatian.
Nano Vim. So it was translated. Apparently it means something in Croatian. Sometimes the translator is very interesting, especially when it translates emotes. So let's continue. Let's actually load the file. Come on here, go here, and let's go 5,000 again. We should see errors and everything. Memory here. So when we open this file now, we get an exception. And if we try and just click back to this, it's like died, right? So this address is currently in EIP, and this is probably not an address, right? So we're going to see on what location this is. Copy value. Come on, did it do it? It's a bit of lag with the VM, so I'm assuming it will be 4112 again here, but we want to test. It was probably just the same number we will see now. Is it the same when I paste? Yeah, it's the same number, right? So I don't know why they wanted us to do 5,000 instead of 10,000 when we get the same response, but I imagine that in some cases we might get different problems, but we still got a buffer overflow error, and the IP was overridden with 41s when we did 10,000. So it's not like it didn't work there. But I guess it's to test a bit. And this is a HackTheBox Academy module. Is that a name? I'm new to that. The Academy there. We can see the string here. We can see our EIP has been overridden, and you can see it too. Now my face is not on top of it. So let's hop back here, and this is we need to add the last line. So if I can avoid typing stuff, I do. So I'm going to just copy what I just run, and actually let's where is the contents of EIP at the crash, at the buffer overflow, right? Crash. And also everybody, my notes, I will update them again, and they're public, so you can get all the updates. Right, so the next step is actually we need an exploit. So we have somewhere that we want to jump. Now we know that we can overwrite EIP, so we will have to get something to run, and let's follow along with the room, or I'm saying room from for Hack Me, but I think it's module, right? Is it module? Modules? Dashboard? Modules.
Sama 6FT3 and 190 LBS outgoing says.
Oh, there's an overflow of 5 access memory locations. So the number isn't supposed to exceed 4096 then, right?
Probably we're overwriting something else too. So if we look at the what we can see here, if you go back here, probably more of these have been overridden too. So saved values about other things have also been overwritten, so we will like crash the program in more ways than that it can't jump to this address. So these kind of look like the same kind of string to me. Yeah, very random. So a lot of characters. So let's say that there's just space for 4,000 characters, and the rest are something else, maybe, I don't know, whatever. I don't have the code for this, I haven't looked at it. Anyway, 5,000 is enough to crash it, so that's the interesting part there. But now we want to see how we can use this. How can we use it? We found that this has a buffer overflow, and we can make it overwrite the EIP, meaning we can redirect where execution goes. So then we have to redirect it to some code that we want it to run, like giving us more permissions or whatever, you know? So let's see where we were. So yeah, I hopped back to get this command. That's why we're on the wrong page. So let's see. So we did this. We did the pattern create. They have an ERC also has one, and ERC is like a plugin for this x64 DBG program. But then we'd have to keep removing all of these extra characters. I don't think you can set the format of it. So I thought it's better to just use the normal one, meaning this pattern create that we just did. Now they say writing our exploit. We write our exploit in Python 3 since it contains built-in libraries to help us with this process, like struct and requests. Okay, now I'm curious. I guess I should just read. I hope to learn a lot, you know. But I also feel like a lot of this repetition since I've already done this in Linux several times. We can start by creating a new function. Oh, well, I didn't read this. We will also write each part of the exploitation process under its own function so that we don't have to jump between different exploit scripts and just call a different function for each part of the process. We can start by creating a new function for def EIP offset, and then create our payload variable as a bytes object and paste between the parentheses the ASCII output from pattern create. Yeah, so they're doing it automated. We want to do it automated, of course, right? The better, the more automated, the better. But we still have to know everything that it does and really understand it. Otherwise, it's just odd, and we don't know what we're doing. So we can click on the Windows search bar at the bottom, right, idle. Yeah, I like idle. Which would open the Python 3 editor. It's the one that comes with Python that everybody forgets about. And then click Ctrl N to start writing a new Python script, where we can start writing our code. Our initial code should look as follows, and let's hope they say everything, though we will probably understand anyway. So we're just making a variable with the bytes, and this is important to have bytes here. I've had problems not using it before. So the best thing with this module really is that it's updated. So older Python, you didn't do it this way, and that's why this is so nice. And the tool is new, and I like it. Yeah, it's updated, it's modern, it's not like some kind of old. We have a Windows XP virtual machine here because we have to do this, you know? There's no modern tools, so we'll have to do it this way. So I like this. Means we can continue learning and using it on more modern things too, right? Instead of just going, I need a Windows XP machine to do this because I don't have any modern tools. So I'll have to go check if my kid is woken up. It's just 15 minutes since I checked last, but there. So he must have had problems falling asleep yesterday, which is like bad timing when he's got a meeting. So I have to get him up It's still 45 minutes. I think I'll put the timer on, so well, I will never hear it anyway. I'll have that on so I can see what time it is. Let's see. Right. Let's make... First of all, I'm not going to make the script as they suggest in idle. I'm going to write it also locally, because I don't want, when this machine suddenly closes down in 65 minutes, I don't want to be left with nothing, right? So I wouldn't suggest anyone to do that either. So we're going to write it here, then we're going to copy it over there, right? So let's see. We have a new version.
My mom would have dumped a bucket of ice water on me, lol.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know he has autism and he has sleeping problems, so it's he's 16 though, so he's I think he'll get up. He said, but he didn't remind me, or he didn't say anything. So let's see here. Where will we put this? This is buffer overflow, definitely, right? So let's just, it's not SQL. Where's buffer overflow? And here we can see what I have not updated in my online repo too. So I need to do this. But this is the only new thing so far. So let's make a new file. Let's call it so it's all buffer overflow. Apparently people make buff for short. Let's say this is Windows this time. It might not be. We can change it. We can change the name if we want to. Let's say exploit .py, and let's get started writing here. So we don't want Docker. Do we want Docker stuff? Whatever. So just we'll copy this. It's nothing really. We'll have to put our own stuff in the middle there where they have the snap. So there, and it's a very funny snip here, so let's put the actual stuff there. We have it right here. Let's see. Yeah, it's the same. They have 5,000 characters apparently. So there, UTF-8. Right, that's interesting. So, and they also have it. It's kind of nice. I think even if I were to remove this, so it's just one line, and I save this. No. So it's usually formatted for me, you know. But I like that it was on a new line so we can see it. I'm actually going to look up the Python bytes function just to make sure we know all how it works. So Python bytes. I just clicked the first link here. Returns an immutable bytes object initialized with a given size and data. Yeah, so it gets this. But I don't think it's the same as typing this. Something there I had a problem with when I made some kind of exploit. So the type. So I want the alternatives for UTF-8 there. Let's go to the docs, I guess. It's not always perfect. This is interesting. Byte order. This is a tab that stays open. Very interesting. So the byte order argument determines the byte order used to represent the integer. Defaults to big. If byte order is big, the most significant byte is at the beginning of the byte array. If byte order is little, the most significant byte is the end of the byte array. Nice. So, if we want
Kitty
to change
says,
something.
Noiki 1 Bop Bop.
Hi, Nori. Yeah, I like those. I like those. You know, I like purple. Can you guess? Could you guess that? I like purple. So let's see. There's no hint like behind me or on the lights or anything. No. So checking time. Next, under the same EAP offset function, we will write payload to a file called pattern wave by adding the following lines. So they're just writing it. Very simple. So let's go here. No. So the icons are too similar, you know? This one in purple, this one. Well, not that similar, I guess. I'm just blind. So we open the file pattern wave for writing binary, calling it F, and then F write payload. So it's kind of the same as we did before. Let's open that because it's here. So it's a bit down here. So here we're opening the file just for writing. And this is the manual way of doing it. Running this, well, 5 or 10,000. We could do 5 here too. So it's the same. And then we're just writing it to the file. So payload is what we're writing. So it's just doing the same but automating it. Note that we are always using bytes for our data. Use WB to write our patterns in bytes. This is because we should create our payload as it will be processed by the program, which in a buffer overflow exercise is in bytes, since it will be loaded into the stack as machine code in bytes. And if it were to be Unicode, as when we tested was just sending it to a file from the output from Python. Let's hop here. If we were to hop over this bit here and just do to my file here, right? Then it will go Unicode on us, and it will be 2 bytes per actual letter, and that would be a problem because it wouldn't be able to find the pattern later, right? So when we're going for the offset here, it wouldn't even be in there because it would be in between here, would be something else between everything. So important. Finally, we should call our EIP offset function, because if we don't call it, nothing is done. by adding the following line at the end. Otherwise, the function will not get run. So we're going to copy this to the code too, and I will hope to the right thing today, to this time, right? And we're checking that the indentation is correct, that these are what's run inside the function. This is run inside this with. The good thing with the with when you open a file is that it's automatically closed at the end of the with, so you don't have to bother with that. But apparently everything can't work this way. So when you can use it, it's good to do. So we're saving this. I'm actually going to copy all of this because I'm imagining this is the first test to do. Now we can save this exploit to our desktop, and we're going to actually put it on there now. So let's go to this one, and I put the start menu at the top, so it should be easier. Let's do idle, and Control N, and we paste our code. And I think that idle also has a dark mode, so you don't have to get burning eyes if you want to use it, but I'm not caring for this. Will be 50 minutes before it shuts down, right? So save 1329. I had to run to my kid again. Just checking if school has any. Oh, they're saying great. So 2 kids, 2 meetings today. One kid has a meeting at 14. One is 50. Yeah, let's just save this as something. They want us to save it as a desktop, so let's do that. Let's call it 1.py. I don't care about their name. Yeah, right, we can run it in idle.
Sama 6FT3 and 190 Ilbs outgoing says.
I have to get ready for class soon, so I have to get going, but I enjoyed getting a lesson on buffer overflow today. I'll do some of my own learning so I can better follow along next time. Fix it 42.
Yeah. You're very welcome back, and thank you very much for subscribing. And I do save all of these streams on YouTube, and on Twitch I make highlights of most of it. If I don't miss it, I will make a highlight. So thank you for being here today, and welcome back another day. So have a great day and good luck in your class. I haven't used idle in a bit, so I was like, run? Yeah,
okay, I'll check that out. Bye. Fix it 42 loves.
So, what this does, it runs this, which will open a file and create this file. So the file is created automatically called pattern wave. Here, that's what it does. So it didn't do anything with the other stuff, right? It's just automated. It feels kind of stupid, really, but I mean, at this stage, I'm assuming they will put more stuff in here, because right now it's just the same as this line, right here. Because we still had to run this and copy this into the script. So, but we could also make a long one and then use parts of it to different lengths things if we wanted to, or whatever, you know. So it's time to actually do something, I'm thinking. Once we do, we'll set the new file pattern wave on our desktop. And this file is identical to our we already had, so we might just skip running it Once we do, we'll see a new field pattern wave on our desktop, calculating offset. Now that we have our pattern saved into .wave file, we can load it into our program. We should ensure that the program is running and attached to x32dbg. And then we can open our file as we did in the previous section. We can click restart button and restart the program. Yes, I was thinking about the restart button. Since we're attaching to the program, I'm assuming that starting the program within would be different, but now they want us to use the restart button, which is much simpler. That's good. I'll just go check on my kid because it's 30 past now. So there. I'm speaking to him, it's just like going, tired. But he still replies and everything, so I hope that he'll be able to manage to get up. Let's see. Yeah, so the restart button. Once we do, we should see that our program crashes due to too long input. Most importantly, we should see that the EAP register got overridden with a part of our unique pattern. So I think in this, it was the last thing they did was the ace. Was it? Yeah, so they never did this, that we have done already. They're sending it back, getting the same number that we got, no surprise, 4112. So if we look here, so here we have 4112, both when we tested with 10,000 and 5,000 characters, of course, right? So I don't know why we would want to do 5,000 if it gets A's into EAP with 10,000, because that's like taking extra time. We still get the same number, the same result. As you can see, it tells us that our EAP offset is 4112 bytes. We can also stay in the Windows VM and use ERC to calculate the same offset. Right, and as I think it was an identical string. So I don't want to create and generate the string this way because we have extra characters, but pasting a address should be very much simpler, right? We don't have to edit stuff. So let's test this. First, we should get the ASCII value of the hex bytes. Oh, yeah, it is messier. But let's try it just to have done it. So, I guess we'll keep this up. Oh my, it's lagging. I did click. There. So here we have our EIP, and we can do modify, and then we have the ASCII value. Yeah. So this is a simple way to make this into ASCII. Though, I think this is messier than just using the script, since we still generated the string this way. It's very easy just to go back a few characters. That's what I did. And I removed this, and then I just tabbed, and I saw that, oh, it was offset, because I thought it was like L for length first, or whatever. Location, I thought probably. So it's offset, right? And I kind of knew that, but I forgot it apparently. So let's see if we can do it this way. I remember, not from them telling us, but that we did this to access the command line. Come on, I did click. No, so not when you have anything open, I guess. So, so let's do this again. We get the value here. We have to copy this. We go over here. I did click. I didn't click again. It was just slow. And then we do ERC pattern. Oh, offset. And we paste it. Oh gosh, I don't know why it is so slow. So we should get. Look, where did that go from? So what did I really send it? Okay, I have a problem with the keyboard again. This is supposed to be dashes. There. So yesterday it was both. Sometimes it was Swedish keyboard, sometimes it was US keyboard. Anyway, a much more complicated way of getting this.
Madam Fabulous
just
says.
doing it the command line.
ISO related? Face with monocle.
The keyboard? I don't know. So this is a Windows 10 machine. But I don't know what they would have made to make it actually find what keyboard I have, right? So if it's sent along when I use FreeRDP, maybe it would know what keyboard I have. So let's just try again. This should be dashes. But it was impartial, so it worked the second time, not the first time I did it. So knock on the door, my kids. Härligt Laban, så brukar du komma upp. Heja, heja, yay. There. Yeah, so I knew today would be like running back and forth. We'll see what happens when it's actually time for the meeting, how much I'm in there, you know. So they have talked before alone, but it was some time ago, so we'll see. I don't know if the one he's meeting with wants me to be there too. Right, so yeah, I was just pointing out that this was easier, right? To just paste it in here and we're done. And then just doing the offset here. But if we can do a script that makes more things automated, that's great. And we didn't get anything on this. Let's try a second time. In here again. Yes, now I remember. Sorry. Oh gosh, it's so slow. It was a keyboard, so yeah, it changed in here. That's where it changed. Just good then. Yeah, so I know that this day. I thought I'll stream anyway. We'll see what happens. I'll do something useful at least, right? I'm also expecting a call sometime during the day. Let's see here. Just checking. So I ordered food for my mom this morning, and then she remembered something more, and then she remembered something more again. That's life. That's really found in IP. Right. So let's just continue with this now. The value reverse found reverted. Value found reversed at position. Alright. So I have a look. Exact matches offset. So this doesn't say if it's reversed or not. Or is it reversing it when it's making it into characters? Let's just read on. The ERC plugin can also find the offset automatically. Yeah, cause I thought of it. It's already in the program. Isn't there a reason why we're connecting and using this? Find NRP command, though it must be noted that this takes significantly longer depending on the size of RAM. Alright, let's just run it to test. That's the reason we do this. To test stuff, right? And if it takes a really long time, maybe the meeting will start there. So we go to log, because this is where we can cut commands. We do ERC. I'm going to try the Actually, let's do it in the right capitalization and see if this differs. And I can't use my... Here we have dash dash pattern and O and 1H F0, and I'm just going to paste, and I have the same there, just to double check. I just typed everything now. So yeah, so now we know how long that takes. Now we try ERC dashes. It's on my plus and minus, that's funny. Find NRP. ERC find NRP. And this could take a long time then. And we don't get any output until we get the output, right? So I prefer when you can see the commands too. I don't like it when it's, you know. I could not find the path plugins. It's not supposed to go for that. It's supposed to do 32-bit, so I don't think that matters. Well, did this appear now? Oh, we have breakpoints here. No. I did click. It's just slow. So I don't think this works, right? Since this one uses... Let's actually just go to the little yellow folder. Go to this PC. Let's do it to C. Let's go to files and x64DG and x64. There's no plugins here, so it's correct. There's no plugins. Stuff happens. So it still did it, since it only has the 32-bit. We're running 32-bit stuff, so yeah, that's a problem with no output until it's done. Process name, cd extract, find a read table created at, and then it starts. I'm trying to see if it repeats anything. Yeah. UDI several times. Here's EIP, and so I don't want to like say that this doesn't work or anything. It was just very much easier this way, right? So you will end up using what's most easiest to do. So we have the 4112 this way too. So we have 3 different ways. Oh my god. So I click once, it didn't select it. Then I double clicked it, and it didn't select the word as I wanted. It selected everything. Yeah, so maybe that's what you want from a double click on a word. Totally fine with me. As you can see, I found the offset based on patterns found in various registries, each of which can be helpful in a specific type of binary exploitation. For us, we are only interested in EIP, which is asking offset to 4112 bytes, as we have seen previously, controlling EIP. The final step is to ensure that we can control the value goes into EAP. Knowing the offset, we can know exactly how far EAP is from the start of the buffer. So we can send for 4112 bytes, and the next 4 bytes will be the ones in EAP. Let's add another function, EAP control. Yeah. Let's do that. Create offset variable. So we have to set the offset. This is not very automatic, you know. The scripts are mostly useful when you get input within the script that you can act upon. If you have to keep changing variables in the script, or constants really. Well, then we'll create a buffer variable with a string of 8 bytes long. So I like that they want to use Python, but the way it's done is, let's hope that it becomes better. Like we could integrate it into x64DBG in some way. Then we'll create a buffer variable with a string of 8 bytes as long as our offset or fill the buffer space. Well, B, yeah. So this is exactly the classic one, right? That we've done. Well, both to the payload, only it's more complicated. So with complicated, I don't mean it's more complicated really, I mean it takes more time. That's what I mean. And let's actually, and we don't want to run this now because it's already run. So EAP control offset, which we by the way got from an external program. We could have run this Python script on Kali, where we also had the other one. Yeah, sorry, I don't wanna. It's time for the call. I'll be back. Då ringer han då. Så fixar jag lite vatten. So they're talking. Yay. So they'll probably call me in for a bit there at the end. Making new plans, you know? So. Just a sec. Oh, I didn't actually test if my stream was working today. So yes, that's good. Well, I got like messages. There. Yeah, this is an odd stream where I'll be running off a bit. But let's see, I want to see. There. Right. So we just added this just to go through the code very quickly. The offset is this. We add this number of A's. Then we add 4 B's. Then we add these together as a payload. And put this in the control wave. So instead of just doing this in a simple Python command, well, so notes. So the normal is to just do this. 55s meaning A's and 66s is what we used here. Not B's then. Just something that's easy to see in hex. It would be 41 and 42 for A and B. And this was just the number of ones there. So I think a full Python script to do something this easy is just to do this bit of it, you know? At the command line you get the string. Well, I don't know where they're going yet. But this is complicating things. If this was the first time I saw this, I would think it was more complicated than it is, when it's very simple. Especially if I didn't already know Python, you know? Then this would complicate buffer overflows, which so far is something very simple. Making it look hard. Splitting our payload into variables allows us to precisely control each part of the buffer and easily adapt it if we work on our exploit. We'll easily adapt it. Yeah. Note now that the last line calls a new function. In the future, we can simply change this line to execute a function we need. Since we're adding functions, we put in manual. Our functions will be sorted in the order we need them. Yeah, so we commented the old one. We can now run our exploit and load it into our program after restarting it with it in. Yeah, so we had to restart it too when our program crashes. So we'll see the 42s. Let's do it, meaning we will go to this. We can save it. We'll just Control AC to copy all of it. We could have just copied a simple line there instead. I'm going to go to idle, change my 1pi, because that was the shortest thing to type. So now we're running EIP control, meaning 4,112 E's and 4 B's in a line. And when we run this, it will create a control wave file for us. And we can just minimize these. And I'll just check. There's no way to extend the time on these. But let's still check. Let's see. So we have 16 minutes. 16 minutes. So I guess I need to be efficient. We'll see if I get called away again, or I'll have to restart it. I'll have to remake the files. So that's live. So let's restart this. Skip. Encode. Select our newly created file, which is not in this location. So where is it? So this thing was making it easier for ourselves. Was it desktop? I think it was desktop. Yeah, so here we have the control. So now we're loading control. It should crash with 42s. It did. Works. Let's add another function. EP control. And we saw also here, right, that it is modified EIP. So we don't have to like restart this because this is the end of it. We'll see. We'll have to have. There's probably a question too. If you find the value in EIP after sending your pattern, what be the offset? Okay, so this is not anything that we need to VM for, but we still have 14 minutes. So let's use this new method. And I'm trying to up arrow the commands. So if this instead was this is not certain to work. We'll see. So 915. They did take a shorter one. That's good. Right, I can't just click enter here, I click submit. Yeah, so that's kind of nice that we finished this bit. I'm still curious where they're going with this, because they're really complicating something simple. In case we didn't know Python, we would be like handling different stuff that's new instead of just one thing when there's really one thing. So the bad character bit. So before we start to utilize the fact that we can control EIP and subvert the program's execution flow, we need to determine any characters we would avoid using in our payload, as we're attacking an input parameter. An open file in this case, the program is expected to process our input. So depending on the processing each program executes on our input, certain characters may tell the program that it has reached the end of the input. Now this might happen even, so I'm not listening, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. This might happen even though it may not have reached the end of input yet. For example, a very common bad character is a null byte. In assembly, uses a string terminator, which tells the processor the string has ended. So if our payload includes a null byte, the program may stop processing our shellcode, thinking that it reached the end of it. Rather, it won't be like it will be terminated. Well, this will cause our payload not to execute correctly, and our attack would fail. More examples are 0A and 0D, which are \n and \r, meaning new line and return. If we were exploiting a buffer overflow in a string input, that is expected to be a single line, like a license key. These characters will probably end our input prematurely, which would also cause our payload to fail. Generating all characters. So, oh my god. Seriously, they put all this extra characters there, making it messy. To identify bad characters, we have to send all characters after filling the IP address. What? We have to send all characters after filling. We then check whether any of the characters got removed. Why after? Why not in these? Well. Whether any of these characters got removed by the program, or if our input got truncated prematurely after a specific character. To do this, we would need two files. A WAV file with all characters to load into the program, a bin file to compare with our input in memory. Oh, I got another message. Just a sec. So, right, great. I'm just saying that there. Yeah, well, I don't have to reply really. Let's just minimize that. She just said she'll get back to me. It's a person who called during stream yesterday about a job. Right, this one. That's nice. We can use ERC to generate a bin file and generate a list of all characters. Create our WAV file. Why? Okay, so it creates files too. Okay. Yeah, so I'm assuming it uses the same one here, right? So if we're going to create more files, we should probably restart this as it's 8 minutes. Oh, I can plus. I didn't know. Can I plus more? Well, then we don't have to restart it. That's nice. As you see, this is my second module. Is it module? I don't know. On the academy, so I'm not used to it yet. We'll see if I get used to it, meaning if I do any more of them. So why would we want this? We want to automate the comparison, and we're going to use ERC for this. But if it generates file, can it not just internally compare them? So I hope that there are like new things here, cause it's kind of hard or like boring to check the memory for these. You know, if there's a null like down here and you miss it or something. Though that never happened to me. So if there's new tools, we'd like to know it. Let's just run that, because that's what they say that we should do. So ERC byte array. We're in the right place already, just type in. So ERC, and I'll just have to dash with the American keyboard key. Byte array. Also, that's something I don't like, right? That has a not my keyboard. I should probably fix it. It's a Windows machine. It's not like the last time I had this problem. It was an ancient Linux that was very bare. And I couldn't. It's the Protostar 2 one. Yeah, that's what it was. So let's just if we can extend the time, it might be worth it to just set the keyboard. It's just funny that it did it automatically yesterday. Typing settings. No, I want language. I did say keyboard. Okay, say language then. So I don't like this, you know. So my preferred language is English. I just want the keyboard to be in Swedish. I definitely don't want it to do anything else. And it's a bit of a mess. It's been for a long time. I remember when I worked at Compaq Support in like 97, and they suddenly there was a game coming with the Presario machines, and suddenly it starting in Swedish if they had Swedish keyboard on the machine. So it's changed the language of the program. And people got annoyed because they don't want Swedish, they want English. Even that, you know, that's Swedes, we like English. Anyway, there were problems with it in some way there. So always the same. Spelling, typing, keyboard settings. This is what we were at. Multilingual text suggestions? No. Advanced keyboard settings. Yeah, so here we have where's the add a language, right? Where's the add a language? Yeah, okay, sure. So we want to add languages. This is keys for it. But we need to be able to add another language. Input language hotkeys, you know? We just want to add Swedish to this list. Language list. If I do US, can I just like add another one? I don't think so. So I'll just top it back there, just not mess stuff up. So keyboard. This is the same. So I guess that we will change the Windows display language, or rather add one, and the Swedish. There's no way otherwise, you know. And it's annoying. Okay, not to say bad words. I don't think it might not be able to install it, because this thinks I want Windows in Swedish. I don't. Yeah, and I'm offline. So input like feedback to HackTheBox. So I'm a bit curious though. How did it get Swedish keyboard? So I'm sure that I could use my normal dash, which this is not a dash, you know. Let's do it. Just run the command. I gave up. So we have a ugly box. I prefer nice string. So, should this line have created two files? And why would it create two files? This also create two files on our desktop. So, why would it? Let's look at the desktop. It did create two files. Yes, love. I'll be gone for a bit. So let's just do.
Welcome to my stream, where knowledge reigns supreme. Calm and collected, I'm about to go live, you know what I mean. Got high expectations, gonna teach you something new. Learning and hacking, exploring, there's so much we can do. Feel the excitement as we dive into uncharted lands. New discoveries await in this digital wonderland. Get a little more secrets, all along the code. No limits, no boundaries, no knowledge will explode. Welcome to my stream, where the fire of knowledge burns bright. Chat with me, let's embark on this journey of delight. From the basics to superpowers, we'll learn and grow in the stream of knowledge. Together we'll grow. Welcome to my stream, where knowledge reigns supreme. Calm and collected, I'm about to go live, you know what I mean. Got high expectations, gonna teach you something new. Learning and hacking, exploring, there's so much we can do. Feel the excitement as we dive into uncharted lands. New discoveries await in this digital wonderland. Get a little more secrets, all along the code. No limits, no boundaries, no knowledge will explode. Welcome to my stream, where the fire of knowledge burns bright. Chat with me, let's embark on this journey of delight. From the basics to superpowers, we'll learn and grow in the stream of knowledge. Together we'll grow. Welcome to my stream, where knowledge reigns supreme. Calm and collected, I'm about to go live, you know what I mean. Got high expectations, gonna teach you something new. Learning and hacking, exploring, there's so much we can do. Feel the excitement as we dive into uncharted lands. New discoveries await in this digital stream of knowledge. Together we'll grow. Welcome to my stream, where knowledge reigns supreme. Calm and collected, I'm about to go live, you know what I mean. Got high expectations, gonna teach you something new. Learning, hacking, exploring, there's so much we can do. Feel the excitement as we dive into uncharted lands. New discoveries await in this digital wonderland. Together we'll unravel the secrets, unlock the code. No limits, no boundaries, all knowledge will explode. Welcome to my stream, where the fire of knowledge burns bright. Chat with me, let's embark on this journey of delight. From the basics to superpowers, we'll learn and grow. In this stream of knowledge, together we'll grow. Welcome to my stream, where knowledge reigns supreme. Calm and collected, I'm about to go live, you know what I mean. Got high expectations, gonna teach you something new. Learning, hacking, exploring, there's so much we can do. Feel the excitement as we dive into uncharted lands. New discoveries await in this digital wonderland. Together we'll unravel the secrets, unlock the code. No limits, no Welcome to my stream, where knowledge reigns supreme. Calm and collected, I'm about to go live, you know what I mean. Got high expectations, gonna teach you something new. Learning, hacking, exploring, there's so much we can do. Feel the excitement as we dive into uncharted lands. New discoveries await in this digital land. Together we can know secrets, unlock the code. No limits, no boundaries, our knowledge will explode. Welcome to my stream.
There. So I'm sorry. I'm going to have another meeting in a bit, in half an hour actually. So, but then after that, we'll see. There. So that was great. Great meeting. So let's see. So it's my 16-year-old. He's he's been doing great on lots of things. He's been like going outside more. He's been sleeping better. So that's great. I am just getting, let's see, where is the right message? There it is. So I'll get back to stuff soon, or rather I'm thinking if I should stop streaming and stream again, but that's also like, this meeting will probably be very short because I think my 14-year-old won't want to do a long meeting with the school. He goes there twice a week and says, you know, this parent short talk thingy, and it's online, so it'll be quick. So how on earth do I do this? Let's see here. There. So I'm just going to send a short message that my kid had this meeting to the next one is going to have a meeting too. There. So, what was the little smile then, right? So, let's hope she doesn't call it once. No, I'm missing his console. Let's see here. So, we were checking that these files existed, but we haven't seen what's in them, right? And I do prefer to do this from shell, right? Because, you know, we want to type the contents, and I'm guessing we're seeding desktop, and we're looking what's here, and there we have the byte array bin and byte array text, and I'm kind of assuming that text uses typing the hexes, the hex numbers, and the binary is just the binary of it. Yeah, 256. So if we type it, we won't have readable characters. I'm just assuming that it's correct, and then I'm curious the format the text file has though. So let's buy. Alright, so they have actually the same name so far. There. And okay, so it's look, we have C#, we have raw. But the raw also have new lines in it. That's not raw. But it's better. So we can get them all like this in a kind of raw format. If we didn't already have them in our file, in our notes. It's just 00 to FF, just counting 1 up all the time. Hex. So base 16 numbers. So updating our exploit. So the next step would be to generate. So they say exploit. I would say payload. This is not an exploit. Whatever. So the next step is to generate a .wav file with the character string generated by ERC. We will once again write a new function bad cars. And a similar code to the EIP control function, but we'll use the characters under C#. Yeah, I won't. We will create a new list of bytes. So they're doing an array of bytes.
VR Mechatronics says.
I have weekend now to Tuesday.
Oh, nice. How's your day, VR? Weekend sounds nice. So it's Thursday, right? Yeah, so paste the characters between the brackets. We will write to Char's wave, the same payload from EIP control. So let's just copy this and we'll edit it. And hop over here. And going to add a new function here then. And let's comment this, paste a new function there. And why not just do it like this? I will change this code. I'm sorry if anyone minds, but or should we have both in here? Should we do it as they're doing it? Yeah, let's, I guess. Because this is just the hex, you know, and this one has \x in there too. Oh, right, so these are actually just, this is just a string. Okay, that's why. So we could just use the \, in there. Anyway, if we wanted to. So they are doing an array of bytes. Why did they select this? Right? When they have the raw right here, and they have the C#, as it says here. I'm curious why, if they just don't know Python and just and just like randomly selected some example code to copy from. Yeah, so I'm trying to select here, and I don't know if it just like, I hope I can select it all this time. So I guess we'll copy this, meaning right click in Windows Y. So let's replace the snip line here with this. So we confirm that the last line is the same as this. We'll have to fix that. To confirm that the first line is the same as that, we just add a tab to the other ones. Okay, I missed the home button. It's a lot of clicks. My, seriously. I guess I'll do it like this instead. There. So we could have not done all of that if we just pasted the other one. But now we have all the characters and it's their code. I'll just leave it. So we still have an offset with Ace. Then they're doing the all cars at the end after the AP. So how would they know that there's enough space for them? They don't. This is like odd. Then we, of course, this is not like a general thing, this is just an example. So we're saving it, we're selecting all of it, we're going to paste it into our 1.py here in idle. So we're pasting this over here. So we still have all the functions, we just run the one. And of course you have to save it, and we're going to run this here, run module F5, right? So it's created a new file, but I want to read also what they're saying, but I'm assuming they won't remove null before they do it, so we'll have to do this a few times. Maybe they say, oh, you can remove these because we don't want to do this a million times. Well, let's see. So we have the code. Note how we added a B before A and B to turn them into bytes. Yeah. Otherwise you can't add them together. Now we can run our exploit F5, generate sharp wave file, comparing our input. Now this is the interesting bit. This will be automatic, I hope. I also have to prepare for my kids' meeting in 13 minutes. So I'm going to just check that I have got the Teams mail. Their meeting. Invite. Okay. So here we have the meeting. I'll actually put it up on my phone. Of course I got reminders about it at once. So I know I had problems with this app before, that's why I'm doing it a bit in advance. Just a sec. See that?
Fixerbot says. New followers to Soden. Less than 3.
So thanks for the follow-up. So I'm trying to juggle my kids and signing into a meeting in a bit. It'll be short though. Sync my contacts. Nah. Connect your Bluetooth. Auto translation. Not now. So, yeah, so I think my Teams, so my phone has this crazy feature that it disables apps, so it's not used a lot, and that's very annoying when you sometimes use one of them, you know, and you're having meetings on Teams with your kid's school and you can't go there. That's a problem. So I'm clicking again, join the meeting. And now, let's see. So nothing happens when I click join meeting still. So I'll probably have to use this computer for the call. So I'll have to stop streaming, but I won't raid. I will be back in like 15 minutes or 20-30. So I'll start streaming again in 20-30 minutes. I'll just do a break. I'll just turn off stream, and of course on YouTube will have to be a new one, because I hope to do this on my phone, but I can't get past this. It's very annoying. I had this problem before. I thought it would just work. I just get different install options. It's open already. Let's see if we try it through the other way. Let's see. So we have the invite for the
Zekagato12 says.
Best viewers on web link.
Fixerbot says.
Yeah.
Message removed.
Unfortunately, it reads it still, even though I remove it. So I'm clicking one of the meetings here. Let's do join the meeting. So we still go to this page, and this page doesn't work, because if I click the join, nothing happens. Yeah, so I'm going to have to stop the stream quickly. The meeting is in 5 minutes. I'll hopefully be back in like 20 or 25 minutes. So I'll just stop the stream and I'll be back soon. quick pause of the stream. So thanks everybody for being here. On YouTube, we'll have to find the new one in a bit. I'll keep streaming in a bit, so thanks for being here. I'll be back soon. Also, YouTube will, or what am I saying? Twitch will also, of course, be a new one. But if you're on the channel, you're on the channel, and you'll just automatically open. So I'm clicking the stop button. I'll be right back.